Hello guys, this is the Adion Fashion Institute, and this course is Princess that Bustier course. It's going to be 3 in 1. This is the first part, and this first part is about the pattern drafting. If you don't have any idea of pattern drafting, you don't have to bother yourself, you don't have to stress yourself, just follow through. So this first part is going to contain how to draft a perfect, you can see how it's sitting, a perfect Princess that Bustier like this. Then the second part is going to be the drafting of the back and the joining, how to sew it perfectly. So let's go. Now, the first thing we are going to do is taking measurements. So I'm going to be giving you all the necessary measurements that is needed for a princess that bustier. The required measurements, every measurement that is needed. The measurements you need to make a bustier dress is different from that of a normal dress, a normal princess that dress that is not bustier, just normal princess that cut. So for this one, we'll be taking our bust circumference. Bust circumference is your round bust, your bust round. I think you know that. Then your waist measurement is your round waist. Then the front half length and the back half length. So this is not like, as I said, the other dresses that you just measure front and back with the same half length. Front half length is different from back half length here. And then we have your shoulder, which is your back, your bust span, and your bust point. So let's listen to what I was saying here. So this is Princess that Bustier, and these are the required measurements: the bust circumference, waist, the front half length. The front half length is, this is how to get the measurement for your front half length. You're going to start measuring from this side, not this side, not this side, this place. You know why you're measuring from this place? It's because your front half length is there from your back half length because of the bust. So you can't be measuring from here. It's not going to cover that inches that the bust is taking. Do you understand? So you're starting from this place here. So for me, my front half length is 18. This is my front half length. This is what I use as my front half length. It's 18 inches. While the back half length, this is how you measure it. You come to this prime. You see this bone that is in between this particular bone. That's where you're going to get the center of your back. So you place your tape there and get your back half length. Do you get? And to get this accurately, I would advise you to tie something around your waist. Just like I'm tying something. You can see. You can tie something around your waist. Maybe tie a tape around your waist. So that you can know that the same place where you're measuring your front half length is where you're going to measure your back half length. That's the only essence of that. So from here to where my back half length is 16 inches. So I use 16 for my back half length. So this is it. Front half length is 18, back is 16. So you don't use the same half length because our bust has covered, my bust already has covered like 2 inches. For some people, 2.5, for some people, 1 inch. But there is nobody that has the same front and back half length. It's not possible. Unless you are not a female, unless you don't have breast. So that's that about the measure. Then you also need your hip measurements. Lest I forget, you also need your shoulder to under bust measurement. Your shoulder from this place to under your bust. So I'm going to be writing it here. Shoulder to under bust. Then you're also going to need your round under bust measurement, just as you needed your waist measurement. Your waist circumference. You also need the circumference of your under bust, and this is how to measure your circumference of your under bust. Just look at what I'm doing. Are you seeing it now? Under my bust, I'm measuring it round. Okay? Are you seeing what I'm doing now? And when you're measuring, you don't put all your fingers inside, so it's going to consume some part. So you're going to do it this way. And for me, my round under bust is 33 inches. So now have to get a round under bust. And your waist measurement, you get the round waist. So that's what I mean by the waist measurement. The round waist, the waist circumference. And your bust circumference, you already know how to do that. This is how to get your bust circumference. Please, when measuring, make sure that it's just one finger that is inside, not 2 or 3. Okay, so this is it. Make sure that it's going freely like this. You don't want discomfort, but you also want it to be fitted. So this is it. And for me, my bust measurement is 39 inches. So that's all about the measurements you need to take. So I'm writing down the round on that. But so I've listed out 10 measurements that you need to take. Please take note. These are the important measurements you'll be taking. Your bust circumference, waist, shoulder to under bust, front half length, back half length, round under bust, shoulder, bust span, bust point, and hip measurement. You know how to measure your hip measurement now. Then this is what they call bust span. Your bust span is the measurement from your first nipple to your next nipple. My bust span is 8 inches. You measure your nipple, where your nipple is, to the second nipple. That's bust span. And your bust point is from your shoulder to bust point. That is where the nipple is. Okay? Make sure you are putting on a good bra when taking this measurement. And if you are taking it for your customer, tell them that they should use a very good bra. So this is it. Shoulder to bust point, where the nipple is. And that's all about the measurements. So guys, yeah, I thought I was actually recording. I thought I was, talking, but my mic was not working, and I had already explained everything. So I have to use voiceover right now so that you can understand what I am doing. So I'm trying to put my, yeah, my pattern paper on the board, and you can see that it's on fold. That's what I'm trying to tell you, there is on fold. If you're not going to be putting yours on fold, definitely you're going to be ruling a starting point, right? The starting line. So but I won't be ruling a starting line at that side because it's on fold. I will just be ruling it at the upper part and at the lower part. So the first measurement you are taking is your shoulder measurement, right? Your back or shoulder. Some people call it back, some call it shoulder. And if your shoulder is 16, you already know you are dividing it by 2 to give you 8 inches. So that is what I have marked there. Then my armhole line is 9 inches. I make use of 9 inches, and 9 inches is what most people make use of. Most people make use of 9 inches, most measurements, I mean. So unless the person you are making the dress for is extra big, right? So now your, yes, that's the 8 inches for the shoulder. Then the depth of your armhole, I'm trying to explain here, and the depth of the armhole is 9 inches. Yeah, from that part to where the last line is, that's 9 inches that I've written out. So that's the armhole line. I just labeled it. So the next thing we are going to be, the next line is going to be from our shoulder to where our bust point is, to where your nipple is. From shoulder to nipple is the bust point. So you're going to rule that out too and label it your bust line. Yes, that's what I just did. So it's necessary you rule out all these lines so that you can easily transfer your measurements. So the next line is from my shoulder to my under bust. That's the next line we are going to be ruling out, shoulder to under bust. And I think my shoulder to under bust is 15 inches, so I'm going to be ruling it out, 15 inches. So I'm going to label it my waistline. Okay, under bust line, sorry. Then the next line is going to be the shoulder to the waist. I'm just explaining here what I've done on the board. Shoulder to armhole line, shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust. Then the next one is the shoulder to the waistline. That's where I'm going to be putting my waist measurements. So shoulder to waistline, mine is 18 inches, and I'm going to label it my waistline. So the last thing is my length, the length of my blouse. Actually, the length of my blouse is 24 inches, and that's the total length of this pattern paper. So, but because that's the length of the pattern paper, I'm just going to bring it as the last, at the last part, the last edge of the pattern paper. So after that, the next thing is to start transferring my measurements, right? Now here I'm trying to explain that whenever you want to put your measurements on paper, it has to be divided by 4 because our body is in 4 parts, right? That's why our body is is equal in 4 parts. That's what I was trying to explain there. So my measurement for bust is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I've added that 10 to the bust line, and that same 10 is what I'm going to be using at the armhole line too. Then I'm going to be putting my under bust measurement divided by 4, my waist measurement divided by 4 at that part too. Then what I was explaining here is that from my shoulder to my hip line, I mean from my waistline to my hip line is 8 inches. Where your waist is your hip, whatever it is that it gives you, you are going to mark it out. You know my paper is not enough, right? That's why I'm just, you are not going to be needing it. It's not like it's really necessary, but it's also important. You are going to cut it off eventually, but just mark it there so that you can get perfect measurements for your bustier. So I'm going to be putting my hip measurement there divided by 4. That's why I requested that you are going to be using your hip measurement for your bustier. So the next thing is the shoulder slant. We all know that our shoulder is not straight, it's slanted down, right? So the shoulder slant, I used to take off 1 inch from the shoulder line. 1 inch. Then that's my neckline, the normal 3 by 3 inches. Although we are not going to be cutting that out now. That's the normal 3 by 3 inches we used to remove for the neckline. So that's the shoulder slant. I connected the 1 inch shoulder slant to meet the neckline. So now after doing that, you know, the armhole line was 9 inches. After removing that 1 inch for shoulder slant, we have 8 inches left. Then you get the midpoint of 8 and 4 inches, which is of 8 inches, which is 4 inch. Middle of 8 is 4. So now you're going to go in by half inch, as you can see that I did in this video. This half inch is to avoid bulge, right? So that bulge that used to be at your armhole side, if you are drafting your own bustier this way, you will not have that bulge there. So after that, we're going to be putting all our measurements. Now for the dart, your dart is going to be um the your bust span divided by 2, which is your one nipple to the other nipple. Mine is 8, right? So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Is that 4 that I'm marking out now? As you are seeing, that's my nipple to nipple measurement. As you know, this book is on fold, so instead of that 8, I'm using half of it, right? That's 4. So I'm marking the 4 all through. So after doing this, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect my darts. So for myself, I'll be making use of 2.5 inches dart. For bust 38 to 32 to 36, you can make use of 2 inches. From 38 to 42, 2.5. From 43 or 44 upwards, 3 inches, depending on the bust you are working with. So I'm making use of 2.5 inches, which means I'm going to be taking half inch on the left side and 2 inch on the other side, which is going to make it 2.5 inches. So you are going to be taking this on your under bust line, on your waistline, and on your hip line. Please take note. You take in half inch on the left, 2 inch on the right, on your under bust line, waistline, and on your hip line. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So after doing that, the next thing is to take your armhole, your dart from your armhole. This is why they call it princess dart bustier, right? So here, at that center point where I told you is the middle of your armhole, that part where you took in half inch, you are going to come down from that part by 2.5 inches. You know, you use 2.5 inch for the down part, so you are going to use the same thing for the upper part too, right? So I came down from that point downwards by 2.5, and I'll be going up, as you can see, slanted to that part. That first line is wrong. That's why I cancelled it. So I slanted it to where the 2.5 started from, and I also slanted to 2.5 downwards. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Please, if you have any questions, watch the video again, and if you don't still get it, please reach out to me. I will explain better to you. So this is all I have done, and this is going to make your bustier come out well. Going to make that bust part very round, and it's going to make sense. So the next thing is our side dart, right? You're going to take in your side dart from the bust line. That's why we said the front half length is different from the back half length. By the time you take in your side dart, it's going to make the front half length and back half length the same. But before doing that, I marked out my normal measurements and I connected it, right? So after connecting it, I'll be taking my side dart now. So my front half length is 18 and my back half length is 16. The difference is 2 inches, right? So I came down by 2 inches and I'm slanting it to meet that point, that bust point, right? Just watch me. So you can see what I did. I slanted it to meet the bust point. So those are the darts I'll be taking off. And the next thing to do now is to remove all those places that I marked as cancel. We are going to cut it off. Those are the dart lines. But remember that all the darts that we took in, we have to replace the darts that we took in. Like that 2.5 inch dart that is on the body, we are going to replace it. If not, it's going to shorten our measurements, right? So yeah, I'm trying to close the side that to see. You see that it's already giving us a curved shape. Then we are going to cut off that side too, right? But before doing that, I'm going to replace the I'm going to replace the 2.5 inch dart that I'm trying to cut away. So just watch what I'm doing. So you can see it. I'm measuring it from there to the, yeah, that's 2.5. I'm replacing it. The same thing for this side and the same thing for the hip line. You can see what I'm doing. So please, I'm using freehand, not because I don't have ruler, but I'm doing this for the sake of those who might not have the curved ruler, so that you can know that you can still use your hand right? So at that point, I'm going now by 2 inches. Why? If you are joining those 2 points together, you know that intake at that upper part, the only way you can replace it is by extending that 2 inches that are extended. So by the time you are joining those parts together, it will not be shorter than each other. Because if you don't extend it out by 2 inches, then it's going to be shorter. Then I also extended it out from the armhole line by 2 inches. Please watch carefully what I am doing. So yeah, I'm cutting out the darts. Please, if you don't understand it, let me know. If you don't get what I'm doing, you have watched it and you don't understand, please reach out to me. So I'm trying to close the side that's here. And after closing it, I have to make sure that the lines are lined. Just watch what I'm doing. Yeah, those lines. Yes, it has to align. For some people, the distance will be so much. See, I'm bringing the camera close so you can understand what I'm doing. So those lines has to align. And after doing that, the next thing is to cut off all the darts so that we are left with the main fabric. Please, that's why I'm using that cancel on the darts line so that I can know where I'm cutting out. It's very important. Know that the only part we are cutting out is that part where there is cancel. Don't cut out somewhere else. I didn't know this part was not showing well, but this is what I'm doing. I'm just cutting out the main fabric, the main part that we need. I'm cutting it out from that part that we are removing. So that was all I did here. And from here, we are going to be joining everything. You see that I didn't cut out that side part because I'm going to be placing it on top. Just watch what I'm doing. What you need to do is to watch what I'm doing so that you can understand. You see, I've covered it up, right? I didn't cut it out, but I covered it up. If you cut yours out, it's also the same thing. So I've covered that side now. So I'm going to be covering every part that needs to be covered. So that's the other side that I didn't mark on. I'm trying to make sure that I get the parts where I'm supposed to cover. That's all. That's the essence. So this is it. Then I'm going to open up the center. And please, when you are trying to, because this process is important, yeah, it's very, very important. Because if you draft on paper and after, putting the paper together, it's not giving you what it's supposed to give you, then you know that there is a mistake somewhere. You don't transfer it to the dress. But after joining it on paper and it's coming out perfectly, then you don't need to bother yourself, right? You know that your pattern is fine. Definitely your dress is going to come out fine. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to join the papers together. While joining the papers together, make sure that the underbust is meeting the underbust, the bust line is meeting the bust line, everything is meeting at that's why the lines are there, so that you can make sure that the underbust line of the center is meeting the underbust line at the side. It's very important. So you can see that even after trying to sellotape it together, the curve is already coming out. The curve is coming out already, and this is it. This paper is very soft. It's very soft. That's why I can't really do much because it's going to tear. So you can see how it's, if yours is not standing this way, if the bust is not enhanced this way, definitely there's an issue. That's why you have your pattern paper. If it's not, but if you follow what I explained to you now, there's no reason why it should not stand this way. So if it's not standing this way, then you have to redraft it. Okay, it doesn't have to be this deep. Once your bust is lesser than 40, your bust cannot be this deep. If your Because I'm using bust 40 here, if your bust is bust 20, bust 32, you don't expect the deepness to be this much. Don't be fooled or don't be deceived by what people will tell you that you're deep. It has to be deep, but not as deep as big busts. Do you understand? So far it's coming out nice, giving you the round shape of the breast. You are good to go. So this is it, right? So this is the front part, and I'm going to be, sending all the second part to you very soon, which is the back part.